Don't you just hate it when they spell your name wrong?
I rounded a corner in Handsacre and was confronted with this boat across the canal. As I tied up next to the towpath, I was informed by a local that the boat was abandoned. Apparently an old guy had died on board a couple of months ago. Try as I might, I struggled to pull her in. And so I shimmied along the gunnels, and then I discovered the bowline was attached to the offside. I decided to see if I could push the boat over and then tie up on the offside, but the boat kept reverting to her position right across the canal. Having tied my boat to the offside, I hauled this one in to let other canal traffic pass. I tied the middle line and the stern line to the armco. Now, either the stern line had worn through or it had been cut, and I've got to confess, it looked in pretty good condition to me. Either way, I phoned the CRT and suggested that they come along and chain the boat to the armco so that this wouldn't happen again. Job done, I could safely be on my way. Below the canal at Rugeley is the River Trent, at the top end of the picture. It should be about 20 or 25 foot wide at this point, not a quarter of a mile. I was reliably informed that it bursts its banks quite regularly, but not to this extent since 2007. Why are developers allowed to build new homes on floodplains in this country?
November, which is when all the canal closures start, where the CRT start making repairs to bridges and locks. Some locks will be closed for maybe 3 weeks,
and some may be closed for 3 or 4 months.
Some whole canals are closed, like the Llangollen and the Cordon Canal. And I've been really surprised at how many boats I've seen on the move so far this morning. It seems that everybody is leaving town. As for me, I'm on the Trent and Mersey. I'm heading north. I'm just going from Great Haywood up to Stone for a little bit. I've been on the boat 6 months now, which is unbelievable to me. I find that really strange. The time has just flown by, absolutely flown by. So I thought I'd give you a bit of a sort of 6 months review, see what I feel about it. What's gone wrong, what's gone right. I think one of the best things about this way of life is you never know what's round the corner. Literally, you never know what's round the next corner. You might go round the corner and find a boat strewn across the canal because its moorings have come loose, or you may come across a lift bridge where the winding gear is on the offside and there are no bollards there for you to moor up to, so you've got to kind of think about things and work things out, which is good for the mind as well as all the physical exercise. There have been such huge health benefits for me. My confidence and self-esteem has got a lot better. Physically, I've lost more than a stone, near enough a stone and a half. What with all the exercise I've been doing, which is absolutely fantastic. And I had my annual Wellman checkup a couple of days ago, and my blood pressure level was the lowest it's been, well, since I can remember it being recorded when I was first diagnosed with hypertension. So, I mean, just amazing the health and well-being benefits. Of course, it's not all been plain sailing, as it were, or casual cruising, maybe that's a better term for the canals. Yeah, there have been moments of anxiety as well. I found the whole idea of trying to find someone to safely put a stove on board my boat quite stressful. And you know, again, when those sort of kids climbed over my boat in Ashton-under-Lyne and were banging on the boat and that kind of thing. Yeah, you know, that caused a bit of anxiety. But really, I've had, really I've had like no trouble at all, apart from those little things. Oh, and of course, being stuck in Uppermill for 2 weeks because I had a leg infection, because I had a bit of a accident in a lock and hurt my leg. But yeah, it's other than that, you know, it's been just a really brilliant time, just fabulous, and you know, it's so lovely. I'm like on a journey, but there's no destination, as it were. You know, each day the journey starts afresh, as it were. You know, which is brilliant. And you know, you can wake up in the morning and open the blinds, and it's a completely different view from what you had the day before. Amazing! It's fantastic. I love that kind of thing. And when I first moved on board, I sort of said to myself, when I first moved on board, I said to myself, well, you know, if I really like somewhere, I'll stay for 2 weeks. And I've got to say, after 3 or 4 days, I'm really bored and I want to move somewhere else. And that's fantastic. I love it. It's just such a completely different way of life to what I've experienced before. Another thing I really love about this way of life is the nature you get on the canals. I've always had a love of nature, but I really wasn't expecting to find the amount of nature and the diversity of nature that I have found on the canals. And in truth, you know, having grown up in Southampton and lived in Northumberland for 29 years, I hadn't really seen a canal, so apart from in London, and yeah, they were, you know, back in the 80s, they were rather grimy and not the sort of place you would want to go to quite honestly. But the canals are just like little corridors of wildlife. They're just like an oasis, of a haven for all sorts of things. I've seen kingfishers that I haven't seen for 54 years. I've seen grass snake in the canal, which again I haven't seen for probably about 20 years. I've seen mink, something that I've never ever seen in my life before,
and have even been woken up by wild boar.
It's not just in the sort of rural areas like this, you know. In the towns and the villages, quite often there's just so much greenery on the canals through these little towns and villages. And a lot of these towns and villages are like little hubs that have grown up around the canal. And yeah, there's this kind of wonderful, lovely kind of community in these towns and villages. It's just really refreshing. It's so unlike what the rest of society seems to be like these days. So quite honestly, being a bit of an old fart, I'm glad I've got away from all that, you know. This is a much more preferable way of life. And now I'm coming up to Who Mill Lock, so I'm going to have to stop recording for the minute. Another thing that I've really enjoyed is the huge variety of trees I've seen. I've seen great oaks, I've seen huge horse chestnuts. In Staffordshire there seems to be a profusion of poplars, which is really nice because I haven't seen poplars for many years. I don't think they grow in Northumberland, that's for sure. And lots and lots of willow in Staffordshire as well. Before I moved on board, one of my primary concerns, I think, was whether I would find being on a boat on my own quite a kind of lonely experience. Now I've got to say, I suppose there have been periods of loneliness occasionally, but I really wasn't expecting the kind of canal community and camaraderie there is. I mean, it's you stop at locks and you chat to people and you have a bit of banter. You make acquaintances, you see various people time and time again, it seems. You bump into them 2 or 3 weeks further down the line, and that's great. One thing I will say is that I have made a few really good friends, which has been absolutely fabulous. So yeah, whilst there have been the odd little occasion when sometimes in the evening I think I've felt a little bit lonely and stuff like that, but you can always just pick up the phone and phone someone, or it's just been great. I've loved it. I've loved probably just about every minute of it. Well, no, that's an exaggeration, I suppose, isn't it? Like I said earlier, there have been moments of anxiety when things kind of haven't quite gone according to plan. But yeah, that happens in every aspect of life, really, doesn't it? So yeah, I've got to say, this is a way of life that I would truly recommend. Good for your health, good for your well-being. What can I say? It's just, it's great.
And in the next episode, I'll be looking at the costs involved of being a continuous cruiser. As usual, feel free to hit the like button, and please subscribe, and please share. Thanks for watching. Hopefully catch you next time.